usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little stretch, stop and stretch. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Usual props, the band, the ball, using a cushion or a rolled up towel if I don't have the ball, using a strap or a belt if I don't have an elasticated band. So same as usual, so if you can find that neutral alignment, that position that allows you to breathe freely down into the belly. So especially if I'm seated, that we tend to kind of like slouch, so compress the abdominal content and prevent the diaphragm from moving properly. See if I can try and sit up a little bit taller, giving myself a little bit more space to be able for the diaphragm to find this space to move up and down inside the rib cage. If I'm lying down, taking advantage of the mat, I'm just going to relax the arms, relax the legs, feeling the belly raising with the inhalation, falling with the exhalation. And then running the quick scan over the body. So as usual, comparing the right and the left side, the pressure on the right and the left side. Am I straight? Am I slightly turned? Am I slightly leaning to one side? Are my arms symmetric enough? Are my legs in the same position? Are they different? Is there any tension anywhere? Is just any discomfort? Is any pain, any niggle anywhere within the body? And then as I try to kind of like feel where everything is and how I feel to begin the session, I'm just going to start with a little movement coming from the shoulder, from the arm. I'm going to start a single arm, so right or left, it doesn't matter, as we're going to be alternating. I'm going to raise one arm up to the front. So if I'm seated, I'm aiming the arm towards the ceiling. If I'm laying down, I'm trying to reach the arm towards the wall behind me. Then easing the arm back, and then I'm going to try the same thing with the other side. So first thing, just comparing right and left side. So one side feels easy to move, the other side might feel different, stiffer, a bit gritty, a bit tighter. I'm not forcing the movement. I'm just going to make the movement a little bit smaller, making sure that it's not causing pain to the shoulder. And then as I feel the movement is a little bit easier, it's a little bit smoother, see if you can bring the awareness towards the neck, towards the head. So as the arm is moving, do I feel my shoulder suddenly kind of like hovering by the side of my head, by the side of my ear? Can I encourage the shoulder to stay away from the head? So can I make sure that the shoulder is relaxed? It's just the arm moving into the shoulder socket. So I'm not creating tension into the neck. I'm not pulling the shoulder up to the head. I'm just trying to move the arm into the shoulder socket. The elbow is soft. I'm not locking the elbow. I can play with the position of the hand. How does it feel if I turn the palm in? How does it feel if I turn the palm forward? Which position works the better for the shoulder? Which position allows me to do a smoother lift on both sides? I'm going to try 4 more. So one side coming back, and then the other. 2 left. And releasing down, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. I'm going to shrug the shoulders up to the head. So I'm going to tense the neck as much as I can. And then I'm just going to depress the shoulders. I'm going to press them down and away. Then again, I'm going to shrug them up and then press them down. Shrug them up, press them down. 2 more, shrug them up, press them down. 1 more. Press them down, hold them there. So think of a nice long neck in between the shoulders. And then this time I'm going to start moving both arms at the same time. So I know that one side feels a little bit stiffer than the other. My right feels stiffer, my left feels stiffer. So I'll follow the stiff side. I'll be taking the arms up to the position where the stiff side feels comfortable. And then I'm just going to ease them back. Making sure that, again, the shoulders are not creeping up towards the head, towards the ear. So I'm not shrugging the shoulders to the head. I'm keeping the shoulders down. I'm keeping the shoulders depressed as much as possible, as much as I can. And then these times, both arms are lifting at the same time, I'm moving at the same time. I might find that if I take the arms a little bit wider, that feels a little bit more comfortable. Notice whether you're lying down on the back or seated, especially seated up, as you're lifting against the gravity. So the arms are, the perception of the arms is that the arms are heavy, making sure that the head is not poking forward. So my head is not moving out of the body line. That will create tension into the back of the neck, that will push me into the hunched forward position. If you're lying down, making sure that the head comfortably rests onto the mat and the neck feels loose. 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then I'm going to try and fine tune a little bit more into the shoulder socket. So this time I'm going to bend the elbows and then tack the elbows into the side of the rib cage. The palms are turned to face up to the ceiling. I'm going to start opening up into dumb weight. So I'm going to rotate the arms out and then rotate them back. Same as usual, whether I'm seated or lying down, the tendency is to wanting to push the elbows back. So if I push the elbows back, it looks as if my arms are opening a long way. The arm is not actually opening, the shoulder joint is not doing anything, it's my shoulder girdle. So what I'm doing, I'm just retracting, I'm just pulling the arm back. What I want is for the arm to turn into the shoulder socket. So the shoulder girdle itself is not moving, it's just the arm moving in the shoulder socket, so turning out into the shoulder socket. The other tendency, if there is a tension into the shoulder, is for the elbows to wanting to pull away from the side, as that makes it easier. See if you can keep them close to the side. So I'm going to keep them close, I'm going to reach them down, and then at the same time, I'm going to rotate them out and then coming back. And then same as I did for the front raise, comparing right and left side, I feel one might feel a little bit stiffer than the other. I can see the arms while they're moving. I can see that my right arm is going a little bit further than my left. So I might pay a little bit more attention to the left side. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, and then I'm just going to focus on one shoulder at a time. If you've got strap, so if it's a belt, if it's something that doesn't have a give, it's solid, I'm just going to measure my distance. I'm going to anchor the strap onto that left side, and then I'm just going to grab hold of it so that my arm is abducted from the body by about 15-20 degrees. So it's only a little space here, nothing too big. If I've got the elasticated one, I know that the band stretches, so I'm just going to anchor the left side against the side of the body, and then I'm just going to hold with my right hand onto the other side. I'll be pulling the band out to that 15-20 degrees of shoulder abduction, and then I'll ease my way back. So I'll be pulling it out and then easing it back. Now, what we're trying to do is trying to get into one of the rotator cuffs, your supraspinatus. That muscle only works for the first 20 degrees of shoulder abduction. Anything bigger than that and the big ones on the outside, your deltoids will take over. So keep the movement small. See if I can create a little tension through. So if I'm using the strap, I'm putting a little tension into the strap. If I'm using the band, pulling out into the band. It shouldn't be heavy tension. It's just a nice, easy, gentle tension. At the same time as you're pulling out, see if you can think of the top of the arm dropping down and away from the shoulder socket. So I want to create space. So I don't want the top of the arm to pinch every time that I lift it. So I'm trying to create space. I'm trying to drop it first and then lift it. Drop it first and lift it. So imagine to make room into the shoulder socket. So I'm going to try and reach it down and open out, then release. Reach it down and open out and release. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to anchor the band with my right arm and then hold with the left and then getting that little shoulder abduction. So little tension, just about able to take the arm to the 20 degrees of shoulder abduction. I'm focusing on the shoulder dropping or the arm dropping into the shoulder socket to see if I can create the space. So if I'm down on the mat, exactly the same. I can use the floor to kind of like guide me. I'm just going to let the arm hover above the ground as I pull it out to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulder, relaxing the arm. So it's a little bit more activation. I'm going to change the direction of the movement. This time, see if I can focus into a little internal rotation. So if you're down on the mat, you might have to kind of like roll slightly to make space. I'm going to turn my right arm in, and then I'm just going to try and reach it behind the back. Then I'm going to ease it away, turn the left in, and then reach it behind the back, and then easing back out again. If I'm seated, exactly the same. I'm going to turn the right arm in, and then I'm going to reach it behind the back. I'm aiming for the hand to reach roughly behind the hips. So nothing too big, at least not to begin with. Just making sure that the shoulder is happy with the movement. So there's no strain, there is no pain there. And then same as you did for the shoulder pull, for the arm pull, making sure that when you're reaching the arm behind, your elbow is still pointing down, as the tendency is to want for the elbow to start coming up and the shoulder will go up too. So see if I can keep the elbow pointing down, and then if I feel comfortable enough and I can go a little bit higher, then I'm going to gradually start climbing the hand a little bit higher behind the back. But I'm not forcing the movement. I don't want to create tension. I don't want to create pain. So as small or big as it feels comfortable for the right, comfortable for the left. One side is easier than the other. So as usual, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to the harder side. See if I can get a better movement in that direction. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Again, it's a little bit more movement through the shoulder. I'm going to go back to the single arm this time. Instead of working on pulling, I'm going to try and push it, squeeze it. So I'm going to grab hold of the ball or the cushion, the towel, and then I'm going to tack the ball between the right arm and the right side of the ribcage, so right in there. I'm going to turn the hand to face up again, same as I did on my dumb waiter. And then this time, the opposite to what I did with the band. Instead of pulling out, I'm going to try and squeeze in. So I'm going to press the arm into the ball and then ease the pressure. Press it into the ball and ease the pressure. Now, play with the angle of the arm. If my hand comes towards the chest as I squeeze, the tension tends to come into the front of the chest. If the hand goes the other way, the tension will go into the back of the shoulder. See if you can try and find a position for the forearm and the hand that allows the front of the chest and the back of the shoulder to work the same amount. So one or the other is not taking over the movement. They're working together. So the arm is coming right to the side, it's not rotating, it's not rolling forward, it's not rolling back. I'm just trying to squeeze it in and then release it back. Dropping it away from the shoulder, trying to keep that space into the joint. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last one, I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Ease the tension, relax the shoulders. I'm going to switch the ball under the left side. So I'm just going to tuck it between the arm and the side of the rib cage, turning the palms to face, turning the palm to face up, and then I'm going to start squeezing it in gently. Same as on the other side. If the arm rolls forward, when I squeeze, I can feel it into the chest. If the arm rolls back, I can feel it into the back of the shoulder. So see if I can find the position that allows front and back to work evenly. And then releasing the pressure. Dropping the arm down. If I can picture the space into the shoulder socket. And then same as on the other side. I'm not pressing so hard that it starts feeling painful, that it creates too much tension. It's just a gentle squeeze. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last one, I'm going to hold the squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulder. It's a little bit more activation through the shoulder girdle and shoulder joint. I'm going to change the direction of the movement of the arms one more time. I'm going to go into a lateral raise. I'm going to start with a single arm first. So I'm going to scoop the right arm around the side, bringing it towards the head, and then I'm going to swing it back into the starting position. Then with the left, I'm going to do the same, and then I'm going to take it back, and then switch inside again. Staying as usual. I'm trying to keep the arm to the side as much as possible. If I feel that the shoulder doesn't allow me to do that, it feels as if it's catching, it's pinching, it's painful, then I'm just going to make the movement a little bit shallower. I'm going to allow the arm to come forward slightly to the body line. If you're down on the mat, again, you can use the floor to guide you. as if I was trying to wipe the floor with my arm. I'm going to swing it towards the head and then bring it back, unless I feel that so close to the floor is too heavy on my shoulder, in which case I'm just going to allow the arm to adjust its position, adjust its height, so that there is no pain, no grinding in the shoulder. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. Again, I'm aware which side feels stiffer, which side I need to pay a little bit more attention to. So this time I'm going to move both arms at the same time. So both together, I'm going to swing them down and round towards the head, and then back the same way. So swing them around and then bring them back. Think of a nice open, nice lifted chest. If I'm seated, see if I can make sure that my head still sits on top of the shoulder, the chin doesn't start poking forward, it doesn't start coming down. To see if I can maintain that nice lifted position, creating as much space as possible for the arm to move with ease into the shoulder joint. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. So there's a little bit more movement through the shoulder girdle and the shoulder. I'm going to work it down into the hip. Same as I did for the shoulder, I want to get the hip to warm up first, to get the hip moving. I'm just going to use the band at the back of the leg if I feel that I need a little support. And then I'm going to start circling the leg around. Same as you did for the shoulder. Think of the top of the leg moving into the shoulder, into the hip socket. So see if I can think of a little circle around with the leg. So if I'm seated, I can take the foot off the ground. If I feel that the leg feels too heavy, the hip feels very stiff, the foot can stay on the ground. I can still get the circle going. I can still get some movement going into the hip. If I'm laying down, I'm trying to hold the leg up. So using the strap, even using the hands to guide the leg into the smooth circle. If you're lying down, make sure that the hips of the pelvis feel stable. It doesn't feel as if the hips are rolling side to side. So making sure that I'm holding the pelvis nice and still. It's just the leg that moves into the hip socket. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to remember which direction I was going. I'm going to have a little pause. And then I'm going to repeat the same, but going the other way. So I'm going to circle the other way. 1, 2, 3, aware of any tension coming up, creeping up into the head, into the neck, into the jaw. See if I can keep it loose, keep it soft, keep it relaxed. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing down, relaxing the leg, relaxing the hip. I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to place the band around the other leg if I feel that I need that support, and then I'm going to start circling that leg around. Keeping the pelvis nice and stable if I'm laying down. If I'm seated, the pelvis should be stable enough as I'm sitting on the seat bones, so it's less likely that the pelvis is going to start rocking, that it's going to start moving. So see if I can try and keep that movement, losing the hip, assisting with the arms, or if possible, just encouraging the leg to move on its own. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to remember which direction I was going. I'm going to have a little rest. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to reverse the circle going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. So hip joint is a little bit warmer. It's moving a little bit better. It feels a little bit easier. I'm going to grab hold of the ball and then step, or the cushion. I'm going to step the feet nice and close together. So seated or lying down, trying to bring the feet as close together as you can, and then place the ball between the knees. Once the ball is set, I'm going to start working through the inner thighs. I'm going to give the ball a good squeeze, and then I'm going to ease the pressure. I'm going to give it a good squeeze and then ease the pressure. Same as usual, as I'm pressing in, if I'm seated, I can clearly see the legs. So I can see if both are moving in the same amount, or if maybe one is moving more than the other, making sure that they're both coming in the same amount. Guiding the leg if I feel that the leg doesn't quite understand where to go. So I'm just going to use my hand to take the leg in that direction. So I can feel the tension through the inner thighs. Making sure that, especially if you're lying down, you don't let the tension reach into your back. So I'm not trying to squeeze and tense it through the back. The back feels loose, it feels soft. It's just the inside of the leg doing the work. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then on the next one, I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to release, and then again, I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. One more time. Squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And easing back. Relaxing through the leg. I'm going to stay with the inner thighs, but I'm going to change the angle of the squeeze. So instead of keeping the feet together, I'm going to shuffle the feet out. So the feet are now slightly wider than the knees. So if I'm seated, I can just about to see my little toe on the outside of the leg, or outside of the shin. If I'm laying down, if I pick up my head, I should be able to see the heels of my feet onto the side of the hips. And then I'm going to go into the squeeze again. So I'm going to press into the ball and then ease the pressure. Still working through the inner thighs, but I've changed the angle slightly. With the feet together, the leg is in a slight external rotation. So the tension is felt more like, almost like into the back of the inner thigh. With the feet wider apart, the leg goes into internal rotation. So the tension is felt more kind of like at the top of the inner thigh. So same as I did on the other side, accompany the leg with a hand, telling the leg where to go if I need to, making sure that my right side is pressing as much as my left. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then again on the next one, I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, release, and then again, squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, release. One more time, squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Easing the pressure of the ball, relaxing the hip, relaxing the inner thighs. So it's a little bit more activation through the inside of the leg. I'm going to see if I can start the focusing onto opposite leg and arm together. So I'm going to reach my left hand on the inside of the right leg. If I'm standing, if I'm seated, the hand should comfortably kind of like get to the inside of the knee. If I'm laying down, if I can hold the leg up, I'll hold the leg up. If I can't, it's too heavy, I might just have to reach my hand on the inside of the thigh, so a little bit lower, as I don't want to strain the neck. And then from there, what I want is for the hand to push out on the leg to push into the hand. So I'm going to press with the hand and then press with the leg. As you press in with both and then releasing the pressure, press in with both and release the pressure. Imagine a tension. It's like a band, a massive band that goes from the front of the chest, across the front of the belly, through the opposite inner thigh. So there's the band that is tightening to create the pressure, and then I'm just going to ease the pressure. A band that tightens to create that pressure, and then ease the pressure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing through the belly, through the shoulder, into the leg, and then imagine now that band crossing the other way. So with the right hand, I'm going to reach on the inside of that left knee, left thigh, and then I'm going to squeeze the leg in, and with the arm, I'm going to push the leg out. Then ease the tension, and then again. Ease the tension, and then again. So see if you can think of the two tensions connecting together. So my inner thigh and the front of the chest, they're connecting together through the belly. So I can feel a gentle tension right at the front of the belly, into the side of the belly, slightly every time that I squeeze into the leg. I squeeze with the leg into the arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing through the leg, relaxing through the belly into the shoulder. And then I'm going to reverse the effort. I'm going to focus more onto the side of the hip, onto the outside of the body. So I'm just going to grab hold of the band. And then I'm going to tie it around the knees. I can hold it with the hands. It's better to put a little bow or a little knot in place so that I can just relax the arms, so the arms can rest and the legs can do the work. I'm going to set the band so that it's around the thigh bone, so just above the kneecap. And then I'm going to step the feet to about hips width apart. So they're not together, they're not too far out. It's about hips width apart. And then from there, I'm going to start pushing out into the band with both legs at the same time. So I'm going to push out into the band and then ease the pressure. Same as before, if it's a strap, so if there is no give, then I'm just going to push until the strap is tight. And then I'm just going to ease that tension. So I'm just pushing against something. So it doesn't matter if the movement feels really small. What I want is to just be aware of the tension coming up into the side of the leg, into the side of the hip. And then same as you did for the inner thighs earlier, especially if you're lying down on the back, don't let the tension go up into your lower back. So making sure that I'm not trying to tense and stiffen up through the lower back feels loose. The tension is going to stop on the hips, it's not going to travel up or travel back into the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last one, I'm going to hold the tension there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep the tension. See if you can push a little bit harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep the tension. See if you can push a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hips. I should be able to feel a little bit more connection into the side of the hip. I'm going to undo the band, so pushing the band to one side. And now see if I can control the abduction, the outward movement. So I'm just going to reach the arms directly over the thighs, or in line with the thighs, with the knees. And then I'm going to start opening the right side. What I want is for my right leg and my right arm to open to the right. And then bring them back to the center. My left arm and my left leg to open to the left. And then come back to center. If you're lying down, you're going to put your hand on the outside of the thigh this time. And then as the right leg pushes to the side with that arm, I'm going to resist slightly and then ease back. When the left leg pushes to the side with the left arm, I'm going to resist slightly and then ease back up. So I'm just going to use the arms to create a little resistance. Push against. So see if I can find that connection, see if I can use the connection. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing through the hips, releasing through the legs, adjusting the position of the legs if you need to. And then I'm going to Give the inner thigh a little bit of a stretch. If you're lying down, feet together, let the soles of the feet come together, the knees open out to the side, and just allow gravity to do the work for you. So I'm just going to let the knees flop out. Same as usual, if this position feels uncomfortable, so I feel my hip is catching, it's pinching, it doesn't feel right, I'm just going to wedge something under the thigh. So it could be the towel, cushion, the ball. So the leg is still able to stay out, but without reaching the end range, avoiding that pinching, avoiding that painful position. If I'm seated, I need to use some resistance as I can't use gravity. So I'm just going to use my hands on the inside of the legs to try and push the legs out as far as I can, as far as I can feel a nice tension, a nice stretch going through the inner thighs. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, releasing the legs back to the middle, relaxing through the hips, and then focusing on the side. If I'm seated, if I can, I'm going to cross one leg over the other. If that's not possible, then with my left hand, I'm going to hook on the outside of the leg, and then I'm going to pull both legs over to the side. So I can feel a little stretch going to the side of the hip. To encourage a little bit more stretch, I'm just going to try and turn around, turn away to put a little bit more tension. If I'm lying down, I'm going to lift one leg, hook the opposite hand around the thigh, and then I'm just going to gently pull the leg across. Don't let the hip, don't let the bum lift off the ground. So I want to keep the stretching to the side of the hip. So I'm going to find the tension, find the right position for the hand that gives me the better stretch, and then hold it steady. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back, releasing the leg down, relaxing the hip. I'm going to try the same thing with the other side. So if I'm lying down, I'm going to pick up the other leg, hook the hand, the opposite hand around the leg, and then I'm just going to gently pull the leg across, making sure that my hip and my bum stays on the ground. So I'm not twisting, I'm not taking the stretch into the back or just into the hip. If I'm seated, same as on the other side. If possible, I'm going to cross the leg over. And then give you a little pull with the hand. If I can't cross over, then I'm going to pull both legs slightly to the side. And then turning away, see if I can get the nice stretch going down the side of the leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back. Relaxing the legs and crossing the legs. If you're laying down, rolling over onto the side. And in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting. Finding that comfortable seated position that's going to allow you to sit reasonably upright. So leaning against something, using the arms to support, setting the legs whichever way works best for your hips or for your back. And then once that you're set there, then think of opening up the front of the body. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to push the chest forward. I'm going to squeeze the shoulders together. I'm going to drop them down and away. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back as far as I can. And then I'm going to release my way back, allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders to come forward. And then allowing yourself to roll down as far as you feel comfortable again. And curling back up, lifting up through the chest, to squeeze the shoulders together, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward, rolling down. And curling back. Shoulders back, extending your way through, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then easing your way back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bath. Give yourself a clap. Well done. Any